everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads, and I want to show you how to use a strand of gemstones that came in this month's treasure subscription box, filled with lots of supplies for you to use during the month and to get your creativity going. I picked out the strand of gemstones, and I want to show you how I'm using them. So the gemstone strand that I'm using is the mixed fire agate. Now I used one to make a ring out of and one for kind of a beaded bead that I was doing during a YouTube live unboxing. And I don't want you to overthink it. All I did was set up the beads, keeping out just 2 or 3 of them, one that I dropped by accident. And I kept out most of the black ones except for the really dark purple one. I went ahead and I strung it on some size 8 BeadTec knotting cord in the beige. Just literally putting on a bead, tying a knot. How did I get the beads onto the cord? Funny you should ask. Here's a simple idea and suggestion for how to do so. Take a lighter, burn the end of the cord. It is a synthetic cord. While it is still hot, you want to grab one of your pliers here and you want to stretch that. You can usually kind of pull, and I let it cool down too much, but you can pull it and make a little bit of a needle on it. Let me keep that. I usually do it while it's still kind of burning, and then look and see how this can get stretched into that needle. So see how that's a nice pointed end now? We're going to take our cutters, cut off that extra, and look, now is a simple end where I can even get 8 OC beads onto the end of that cord simply, and then it goes just like a needle. You can extend it out further and further, and that's going to keep it from fraying and also makes it easier for you to go in. So you're just going to go in, and I left myself about 24 inches. Put a bead on and knot, or you can do it directly on, but you want to make sure you have enough thread. Once you have all your beads on, I left myself a good 3 inches at each end after going in and knotting these on. I've been wearing a necklace of mixed gemstones a lot this season, and this is just a combination of a couple different strands of mixed gemstones that are on our website. And I thought it would be really nice to have kind of a chakra color look to match because I love the mix of colors. I'm going to cross over the cord. So we're going to take one cord and go from the right to the left and the other cord from the left to the right. We're just going to do a simple slip knot ending for this. I'm going to cut another piece of my BeadTec knotting cord. If I want to, I can do a separate color. Notice how I did a knot there. I'm going to do the same thing here just so it doesn't come apart, and I'll explain that later. And then we'll burn the end of the cord too. But this was made in about 8 minutes, just to give you an idea. And then I was like, oh, I should record this. All right, so our new piece of cord, we're going to take and we're going to put it over both of those, going in half. Again, this is about 8 inches of cord. And I'm simply going to tie it around those 2 cords. So one cord going from left to right, one from right to left. They're sitting side by side, and then I tie that new piece of cord onto it. From here, I'm going to turn it a little bit to the side, and we're going to work down. I'm going to take and just do a simple half-hitch knot, which you can call a macrame knot. And we're going to go and make Snoopy's nose to the right. I've got lots of videos showing you how to do this. That cord comes down from the left on the opposite side. It goes over the top of the cord that's coming from the right, and then we're going to tuck it underneath the 2 cords and bring it through Snoopy's nose. And remember, the cords in the middle, those 2, are your right and left of your gemstones that you tied. Now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. One coming from left on Snoopy's nose. My cord on the right goes over top of that cord, underneath the 2 middle cords, and out through the middle of that Snoopy nose. That's my second knot. I'm going to do a third knot the same way. Snoopy's nose on the right, cord goes over the top and then through the middle. And again, if you want to search on our YouTube channel or on our website, you can see more macrame videos as well, which are a little bit longer and more detailed of how to do this knot. Going over, make Snoopy's nose on the left because I'm alternating. That other cord comes over the top and goes through the nose there on the bottom. All right, so that gets me just the littlest bit of slip knot. I don't actually even need more than that. Aesthetically speaking, if you want to, you can do more. You can say, oh yeah, sure, let me go in and do 2 more knots because I want the look of it. But you don't actually need more knots. The biggest thing here is to make sure that 1, these are pulled tightly, and 2, when we get to the next step, that you are not burning, or if you choose to glue, your slip knot closed, because you want to be able to open and close this along your project. So here we go. I'm going to go up here. This is a nice, also simple little gift project, and pull nice and tight at the end. So we pull nice and tight at the beginning, nice and tight at the end, and we have that little slip knot in here. These cords we can cut down to whatever length we want, but the first thing we're going to do is get rid of these slip knot cords. We're going to cut them down, leaving about a little more than or a little bit less, excuse me, than 1/4 of an inch. I'm just cutting them down with this. Now, I am going to burn these cords down. However, caution and note here, you do not want these burned ends to touch the middle 2 cords. They're only going to touch that slip knot that you just did in the middle. I'm going to go in here and burn. Right before it gets there, I'm going to take it and burn it off and end it right there. Flip over to the other one here. Do the same thing. Make sure you're only burning that cord end that you're doing. I like to use a round nose pliers and just kind of push it down against it. It tends to not, you can pull the plasticky coating that it has off. And now you have your bracelet done. So now, what does that slip knot do? Look, it allows me to pull the cords through either end of that knot. What I want to see is how big I need this to be. I don't actually need it super big, but I need to get it over that wrist bump. Once I know exactly how big I need it, then I can cut down those cords. So this is about how big I need it. I don't want a ton of extra cord there. I'm actually going to cut right after that knot. If you want to, you can tie a little bead onto there as well, making the sides about even. Going to take this here. Same thing, let that ball up. Go the whole way to that knot, let that cool. Same thing on the other end, let that ball up. You can do this in any color you want. Once you see that it gets to the knot, let it ball up, and that is it. This is like the easiest, coolest present that you can make for someone or for yourself that requires hardly any materials, came from the treasure box, and you just need to grab some knotting cord to create. Thanks so much for joining me in this quick little tutorial of how to create this really fast, simple bracelet. I'm going to put it on. Most unattractive part of this is that if you don't have somebody handsy there, this is the way that I put it on. And now my bracelet is on to go. You have those little strings along the side. My chakra bracelet is on, ready to go, and ready to wear to match some of my necklaces and other jewelry supplies. Remember, if you do want the treasure box, you can go ahead and look below the video, or if you want links to get back to the site to get our BeadTec knotting cord, you can check out all the gemstones there, make some matching pieces, and have fun creating. As always, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.